kind of just did whatever my parents wanted to do, and I kind of just believed what my parents believed because I was so young. From what I remember growing up in a Catholic church. That's how I learned about who God was. I memorized so many of the prayers and so many of the things that they would say that it would just come to me naturally, but I never genuinely understood what that meant to me inside. Being really close to my mom, I just watching her and just going to church with her, looking at her, she was someone that loved God so much, and you could tell by the way she was singing the songs in church and how she was praying, you could tell that every single word meant something to her. In grade 12, I was actually just about to graduate, and my mom, she suddenly got really sick. I remember, nothing can go wrong, so everything's gonna be fine, it's all good. My mom loves God so much, why would he do this to her? So we found out actually on her birthday that she was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer, and we were told that if they tried to operate on her, it would make her cancer worse. So we weren't able to do anything. It was just a waiting game at that point. And then 2 weeks after, that's when my mom passed away. I think it was a 4-year dark journey for me. Just 4 years of me trying to do something else to help mask that pain. So it would be drinking, I would self-harm. I stopped going to church. I stopped going to my youth group. I stopped praying. I fully believe that he hurt my family so much, so why would I want to trust in someone like that ever again? In grade 6, I did a talent show and I did dancing, I don't know why. And then the year after, Mom was like, well, I'm gonna put you in hip hop because you seem to dance so much. I'm like, oh, sure. And eventually I grew in love with it. When my mom passed away, I actually danced more. So along with all the really bad things that were happening in my life, I did turn to dance at one point because it was a way for me to express how I was feeling without having to talk to anyone. I would just have to dance and that was it. 2014, a friend of mine who was a very strong Christian, she started a dance group at my studio called Word Up. She asked me if I wanted to come join, and at first I was like, oh, I don't know, if it's faith-based, I don't think I'm down. And then she's like, no, if you're not Christian, if you don't believe God, it's totally fine, we're just gonna dance. I'm like, okay, fine. I did that for, I think, 2 years of Word Up. And then during those 2 years, my friend would ask me if I wanted to go to church with her. I don't remember what year I went, but I went to celebration on an Easter. I remember, thinking this is insane. As in wow, this is what church is. There's people dancing and singing on stage to such awesome music, and there's so many lights and just looks like a concert. This is so cool. But I remember leaving the church feeling so inspired, and I think for me personally, that was the beginning of my walk again with God. I remember specifically when the series of storms was talked about. Pastor Dennis, he talked, it was part 4, and he said something like, don't let go of what you know over what you don't understand. And I remember when he said those lines, everything over the past how many years it's been since my mom passed away came rushing back, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been needing to hear. What I went through was not because of him. God was always the one waiting for me at the end, and always waiting for me, and always going through this with me the whole time, and I didn't allow myself to see that. My friend and her sister, they asked me and my other friend if we wanted to perform for Christmas and for Easter. I did the Christmas service, I did the Easter service, and dancing on stage at a church that I grew to love was an unreal experience. It just makes so much sense to use my body and worship him that way, and to dance because he's allowing me to do so. All the, things that I've done, they matter, but they don't matter because they don't define who I am, and what defines me is is God and like how and my relationship with him and how I carry forward from this now. And that's what's gonna matter, is what you do now instead of what you did in the past.